I'm doing a short test again, just testing out the streaming equipment and again checking out how the sound is working. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I plan a shoot, how I do my my planning ahead of a shoot, how I make a document to everybody involved in the shoot, and how to maybe talk about also how I get inspiration from photos. So last time I talked a little bit about my recent shoots, and today I want to talk about a shoot I did a couple of years ago actually. And the reason why I want to do this shoot in particular, which you are seeing right now, is because I made a call sheet for that particular shoot. A call sheet is a document that you use to contain all the information necessary for the people involved with the shoot. That is the model, the makeup artist, the hairdresser, the assistant, and so on. And this document is meant to, I will show you in shortly, and you send this document to everybody involved a few days before the shoot, so everyone gets a chance to read it and have any questions they can ask it. Today I organized my chats, organized my shoots on Facebook Messenger. I don't like Instagram Messenger. It's not a very good system to send pictures and collaborate. So Messenger is the one I use for organizing my shoots. So what you're seeing right now is a few of the selections from a shoot I did a few years ago of a model. She had makeup done by a professional makeup artist, and it's many years since I did this particular shoot, so my way of working in post-processing has changed a bit since then. But the result was quite good. I was enough happy with the finished product. Again, this was a time for print shoot. It was not meant to be published or in any way commercially used. So this is a pure time for print. It's it was meant for experience for both all of us involved. So what I did was I made a call sheet. A call sheet is I can try to zoom in here so see a little bit better. So a call sheet is just a Word document actually. It's a collection of all the details you need for everybody involved to get to the photo studio or location at the set time, at the set date. So this is, I have removed the phone number so you can't call everyone involved. And this one is, you see I have, on the first page I have a big picture of the model from a previous shoot. And I also have, the title is title of the shoot. If it's a particular shoot, I name it thereafter. I have the date and also the time. So this one was from 9 o'clock to midnight. And below the picture of the model, Sophia, you have talent, which is the name of the model or the models involved. And photographer A, that's me. And then you have a makeup artist. And we didn't have on this shoot someone on hair or crew. Also, you see here, it's something called call time. Call time is the time when the particular individual are supposed to be on set, on location, or in the studio at that time. So you see here I have my own call time 8 o'clock because I like to come an hour before to set up the equipment. And the model and the talent has a call time of 9 o'clock. So they don't need to stay there like an hour and just wait for me to set up the lights. They can come directly to the studio and we can do the shoot at one time. And also in this, you see, I have this is in Norwegian, so I have to translate as we go. I have the name of the address, on location, and it says, I don't know what glitter is in English, sparkle, you know, this thing you can put on your skin, and it's a mess in the studio. We don't use that. It's forbidden because it puts itself on the paper background, and it's impossible to remove. Also, no dogs allowed. And I like dogs, but in this particular place we don't have. We are not allowed to have any dogs inside the studio. That's bad because I really like to have a studio dog to hang around. And then I also have a map of the place. This is the old studio, so you can't find this place anymore. It's been the place has been razed to the ground, and they're putting up another building there. But the studio has moved since then, so that's not a valid address anymore. So on the left side here, you see this is a description in Norwegian of what the shoot is supposed to be of today. And just I'm making this call sheet, so I'm just writing a short description of what I have in my mind of what the today's shoot should be. And I also write here that since we are the last ones in the studio that day, it's possible to extend the studio time if we like, if we run over time. I don't remember if we did that on this particular time. Anyway, 3 hours in the studio is quite tiresome, especially if you are alone as a photographer and you have to do all the setup of the lights. So otherwise, I'm just here telling them about a white background in the studio, which is new from last time, and I'm just saying that this will be a fun, laid-back shoot. So I'm open to any ideas that the crew has to offer, and this is something that is important for me. Sometimes when I have a clear idea of what I want to shoot, it's very easy I want to have this like this, and I can get it like this. But sometimes it's very important to engage the ones you're working with, because I'm working with people, I'm not having people working for me. That's a bit what I am thinking about shooting on studio, because it's a teamwork, it's a cooperation between all sorts of people who are supposed to be collaborating on something together. On the other hand, it's important to be a photographer and stand your ground if you have a particular idea in your mind, because sometimes you meet people who treat you as a photographer as someone just takes a picture and that's it. They don't know how much work it is to organize a shoot. They don't know how many hours beforehand you use to do research, to book a studio, to get people together. It's a lot of work to match the times so that you have the same everybody has the possibility to meet at that particular time. And also they don't really know about how much work you do afterwards in terms of editing the photo, because editing the photo is more or less 80% of the job. Because when you take a photo, it's a raw photo. You haven't done anything to adjust the light or the maybe there's some color miscoloration on the skin or something. All these things needs to do some work, and you also do a selection beforehand. And the selection is very, especially if you're like me who shoot like hundreds of photos each time, you have to make a selection of the photos, and this takes time. The best thing to do when you're done a shoot in the studio is to wait to the next day. I can't wait. I usually select few photos the same day. But the best thing is to wait for a day, and then the next day have a look at the photos, because then your mind also is clearer. You have slept and you have gotten back your energy, and when you look at the pictures, you will look at the pictures with refreshed energy, because you can always make selections the same day as you are in the studio. When you finish in the studio, you're really excited to get back home and to do some edits quickly and get a turnaround to the model and the makeup artist and the hairdresser, so they can see what you're doing. But often what I discover when I do this all the time, is that when I'm not really in shape, tired of a long day, maybe I've been at work also, so when I'm coming home and editing the photos, I'm not really realizing that I'm quite tired, and then what I choose to do is really done when I'm not optimal. So when I look back the next day at the edit I was doing the previous night, I was like, oh my God, did I do that? So it's best to wake the next day up and have a look at the photos, because then you're more clear-headed and you're able to make a selection which is more to your is better. Yeah, it's the same thing about not making big when you trying to decide on something, big decisions. You should not do it when you're really tired. You should wait until you're properly functioning and not tired from a long day at work or something. So it's the same for editing photos. You have to be a bit clear-headed. I forget it all the time. Anyway, this shoot, I just dropped some mood boards. A mood board is a collection of photos that you use to you can use it to send it to the makeup artist and say, hey, I would like this kind of look. And you send a number of photos in a single image. You sort of make a collage of photos and you send this to the makeup artist. So the makeup artist knows, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm probably rambling right now, but I'm trying to get back to what I was saying before this. And this is because of this little rant I had about people not realizing how much work you do as a photographer. And I think that you have to be very clear as a photographer what you want. And you don't want to work with people who ignore what you want in your photos, because it's very, very annoying and really bothersome to work with people who don't want to listen to your ideas and just want to do their own things. I have worked with people who have said, I want like a style like this, and I get like some completely different, and it completely different mood, and it completely my idea, my sort of will to make the photos is not realized, and I'm really frustrated sometimes by people who don't want to listen to what I want to have. A solution to that is, of course, is to not rent, but pay something, because I have been talking about time for print so far. So this is a much better solution, because then you go in and you pay something for their time and their materials, and you ask them to work the hair or work the makeup, and you give them exactly what you want. And I always ask them, do you think this is okay? Do you think this will work with the model? Because sometimes you have to use different makeup styles to different faces, because people are different. Models also believe that. Can you believe that? And therefore, one makeup style that you have seen may not work on another, on the model you have in the studio. So it's important to confer with a specialist. In this case, this is a makeup artist, because the makeup artist then can make a decision based on the photos she has of the model and say, well, this may be a little bit too much, so maybe a little too little. And you can ask, what do you think we should do then? And then you can sort of collaborate. But the point is that you have a specialist working with you. So if you pay that expert, that makeup artist, you can say that I would like this style, and you can ask the stylist, is this style okay? What do you think of it? Because often when you work alone, it's very you can make really strange ideas, and maybe people will when you go in studio, it will not work at all. So it's important to have experts to collaborate with, that you can talk with and exchange ideas. I also use Pinterest a lot. Pinterest is this, I don't need to explain. So I use Pinterest a lot to make selections of photos. I just input a search query, and I have lots of photos to choose from. And the photos I like, which I think is inspiring, I go to that, I save those photos, and I also use them as a mood board. So this then is the collection of photos, inspiration, and you see this when she's sitting on the floor, we did something similar. Then we ended up with this particular image. She's sitting sort of here, sort of. So this is today I would not probably use this particular style on her, but I've learned hopefully since I was in the studio. So back to the mood board. It's just a selection of photos. I probably found these on Pinterest and saved them and put them into this Word document. And here is a mood board for poses. In terms of the models, also you have to think about how the models, what kind of pose fits. It's important to have a classy pose and not something that is. I try to make it classy, not trashy. It's sometimes a thin divider between classy and trashy. But when you do, when you do trashy, it's like obvious. It's like cheap. It looks like you're imitating something, or worse, it looks like you're trying to shoot something. That's not clearly your what you wanted to imply in the photos. But all that I think depends on your experience, and I think you get a lot of experience by watching other photographers work, looking at other photos either through their webpage or through just searching on the internet. Use Pinterest a lot to look at photos. Try to go to exhibitions. Try to watch movies. Anything that sort of have the visual media. The visual media will, after some time, will be able to all things you have seen is part of your media bank. So you can use this media bank unconsciously. It works like that because it's like as I said last time, when you're in a studio and take pictures, sometimes it just clicks literally when you see a pose and everything just snaps together and it's perfect. And I think that is because it's part of your experiences you have had of watching other photos and whatever visual movies. And sometimes it just sort of collapses in on itself when you take a photo, really have a photo studio session, and you sort of work towards something and you don't really know exactly what you're working towards something, but then suddenly you see it in the camera. You see it, oh wow, that's exactly what I'm looking for. It's very difficult to describe, but I think everyone who has taken a photo knows exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone who has taken a photo out to take a picture of the sunset or a beautiful landscape, when you take the camera up, you take a couple of pictures and then you move about a little bit, and then suddenly you see something in the camera that is really beautiful, that you really like, that you think this is exactly what I wanted. This is what I'm talking about. The moment when you are in the studio and suddenly it clicks. You see something in the camera and you know that you're onto something interesting, good, something that will make your maybe your week even. So these are just poses of poses. It's not really a good mood board. Today I prefer to just use to instructions and have some general idea of how to pose people is really good to do. I will see if I have this. No, I didn't. But some time ago I had a short text I used to send to models, which was sort of a mini course in how to pose. It's like don't put your fingers together like this, spread them like this, because if you do like this, when you see someone posing with a hand on the side like this, it looks like a big blob of flesh. So try to spread the fingers because it looks better, for instance. Also the whole thing about stretching your neck and lowering your shoulder. If you're a woman, lower the shoulder in front of the camera while the shoulder behind is up, and vice versa, or different because of when you're a man, you do the other way, and all that sort of things. So those are the poses, and this is just a light setup. I don't remember if I used all these three of them. And today I don't use this kind of, it's no need to show this to the people, unless you have someone who's maybe you're mentoring, or someone who's just new in the studio. They maybe they like to see how you set up the lights sometimes. But this is just very basic lighting setups. And I used Strobox, which is an online site where you can make your own lighting diagrams. But when I'm studio, usually I tend to use 2 or 3 sort of basic setups of light. And when I do my first shoot, I just test out the light and see how it goes. And I just recently gotten a light meter. So I'm using the light meter also a little bit. I still don't quite understand it. So when I sort of set up my first light, I shoot one or two outfits, and then we talk a little about the pictures, look at them, and then I change the light maybe, and we do another set outfits change, and we keep going on like this. Usually when I'm in studio, we have like time for, sometimes I can do 3 outfits, and sometimes we can do even 6 or 7. It depends on how effective you are, on how competent you feel about the pictures you've taken. Is the pictures good enough for you to go on to the next outfit? Because when you're in a studio, the model takes with her or him different type of outfits. And sometimes you have a clear set of outfits that you want to use. You have said to the model, I would like to have a dark, moody, long dress outfit, and next one, maybe some sportswear, and maybe last one, maybe a little bit short skirt and more heavy makeup. And when you do that, you sort of have to change between these things, and you sort of you have to be certain you got the photos you like after you're shooting, when you are finished with the first outfit, because you can't go back to the outfit before. Usually you can't do that because there will be marks on the body of the clothes sometimes, and sometimes you have to change the makeup also. So that's a whole different ball game. I will not go into that. So this is just a call sheet. A call sheet then is just a document you use to convey information to the people involved with the shoot. So I haven't done a call sheet in a long time, but I think for those of you who like to organize and like to sort of concretize your plans and your shoot, this is a good way to do that. So that was a long rant. I hope you had some sort of, if anyone is watching, I don't know, I don't think so. But in case if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reply. I might be doing 1 more or 2 more of this if I feel I have something to say.